Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Let's Get Chatting podcast. Today, we've got some guests with us who will go through exactly what they do. I'm not going to try and spiel it because they'll tell it a lot better than we do. But obviously, you've got me, Josh, as always. We've got the BTEC host, Bicker, as always. He's a bit slow on the gun, BTEC host. And we've got Kimmy and Victoria or Vicky. What would you prefer?
Vicky's easier.
Vicky. Cool. We're going to go with Vicky then. Sweet. Perfect. So what we'll do is, as always, what we tend to do on here is just to get everybody comfortable with talking and whatnot. I'll just ask how your day's been. What's everyone been up to? So I'll start. Pretty much today's been, well, to be honest with you, it's been pretty boring. I haven't done much. I've literally been to work, came home, been a dad and chilled out. So easy for me. Vic has been off work. So hopefully you've been a little bit more exciting. Come on, Bix.
Well, I have been off with the 5 kids that I do have, and it's been pretty manic, to be honest. It's not really time of work, it's just manic as per usual, but it's been all right. We've been out. I took everyone for a meal, so yeah, it was good.
Well, do you have to remortgage your house to feed 5 kids?
I was going to say, I feel that was really expensive.
Yeah, Haribo's. Bag of Haribo's wasn't. Nah, I'm joking.
Yeah, what about you, Vicky?
I've been at work today, unfortunately, but I did get out for a nice walk around Caldecott. So the office that I work in looks over Caldecott Lake. So I had a little nice walk around the lake on my lunch break, which was lovely.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Perfect.
I don't know how
What about yourself,
Vicky, I
Kimmy?
don't know how you fit this all into your day. Vicky's crazy. She gets up at like 5:30 every morning. She gets all of her 5-kilometre walks in, works full time, and then
So
does it.
Yeah. To be fair, we're quite similar though, because like I wake up at like most days, not recently, I'm not gonna lie, Bicker, I've been failing at the gym again.
Oh,
I'm usually up at like
wow.
5 a.m. at the gym before heading off for work at like 6:30. So and then I've got a walking pad. So usually when I'm doing my editing or anything, I'm on the walking pad as well. So I'm trying to get like over 10,000 steps in and so on. It's just, fitness is hard, but as you're probably aware, it's good for your head. So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So, right, did you tell us, Kimmy? I'm lost.
no,
Did you?
what did
No?
you do, Kimmy?
No,
Yeah, what did you do today?
I spent the whole morning sending emails today for mental health cleaning. So, and then I was KO'd for the afternoon. I had a nap, and the cats woke me up because they were hungry. So, not exactly the most productive day apart from the morning.
Nah, I get that with the cats. I got 2 cats and they wake me up all the time. And cats, like, they're worse than dogs when it comes to being hungry, I swear. Because
100%.
they'll jump on you. Like, dogs will just make noise, but my cat will sit on my, like, head wherever and be like, feed me.
I've said
They
that
actually act like
happening
they've not
like
been
in
fed
the
for days.
morning. Yeah. And they can tell, like, as soon as your like eyelid moves in the morning, they're there.
Yeah, my cats know exactly what time they're getting fed as well. Like,
Yeah.
because we feed ours at night and the morning, but it's usually around about the night time they know. So say like 9:30, 10ish, they're like scratching at the cupboard where their food is. They're like, we know it's food time, like hit us up. And I'm like, what? Give me a
Cats
minute.
have a strict routine with their food as well, so they know when it's dinner time, and that's it.
Yeah, they're super intelligent. I still think cats are more intelligent than dogs. I said it. I don't care what anyone says. My cats are anyway. My cats are. I don't care what anyone says.
You've
So-
got a crazy dog, so
Yeah, my dog's psychotic. We won't even talk about her. She's a nightmare, honestly.
Psychotic stuff.
Yeah, she is crazy. So mental health cleaning. How did it start?
So, Kimmy started it. So just
Okay.
I think 18 months ago, Kimmy. Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so
About 18 months ago.
October 2023.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got involved probably about a month later. So we have a mutual friend, and I saw a random post on Facebook asking for volunteers for cleaning for a kind of new volunteer group. And I just dropped down. So I do work full time, but I work condensed hours. So I get every Friday off. And I thought I work in like quite a corporate environment. I thought, that'd be something really nice to do. So I reached out, and I guess we've had kind of a journey in terms of volunteers, haven't we, Kimmy? So I think in the early days, there's quite a few of us, but probably for the last year or so, it's just been the dynamic.
It's been amazing.
do you find that maybe like some people, again, not speaking ill of anyone, but it's like jump on the bandwagon mentality
about
where
to
they're
say that.
like instantly like, oh yeah, we'll do this, and then they realize it's actual, like, you got to get into it, get into the nitty gritty, and
Yeah,
they're a bit
that
like,
happens quite a
whoa.
bit. People love the idea of it and helping and sort of, being out there as well. But then when it actually came down to it, it's a lot of work and preparation and love and care and policies and procedures that go into this. And it can be sometimes a little bit overwhelming. And I
Yeah.
think, when it actually came down to that, and also people not realizing actually the graft that goes into these cleans is
Yeah.
It is graft.
it's physical work. It's mentally and physically draining. It's not for everybody. So people are kind of fizzled out over time, I guess. But me and
Yeah.
Vicky, we've just been doing this pretty much right from the beginning together. So it's been absolutely amazing, hasn't it? The journey we've been on.
Yeah, it has been a
Doing God's
journey.
work. The dynamic duo doing God's
The
work.
dynamic duo, yeah.
I know I can read Bicker's mind. He's about to tell you how he used to work for a cleaning
I
company.
did,
Oh.
yeah. So
Any
I
top
did
tips?
when I left school. That's like one of the first like jobs that I'd done. It was like doing military march outs for like army. So it's like the cooker cleaning, like everything. But like you can imagine, there was some cleaner and
Some shitholes.
Yeah, some shit.
I came in out a few times. Like, I was like really young at this time, and I was like, yeah, 20 quid and I'll wipe down the skirting boards, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, but like you say though, it is graft. Like you think, an hour, but it's a 1 day, 2 day job.
Yeah, so on average, I cleaned for 6.5 hours. And this is deep cleaning, decluttering, and reorganize everything. So making systems for people. So sort of the reason why or how this came about, the mental health cleaning, was we realized there was a massive need for this. There isn't anything like this. And me and Vicky, we both have sort of lived experiences, where we've been through things in our lives. And one of the things that massively impacted us was obviously our home environment. And it's just there's
100%.
nobody there. Not everybody has support networks, and not everybody can financially afford, cleaners, and people are too embarrassed. I mean, even if you do have a support network, to actually have your family and your friends come in as well to your home. So I realized there was a massive need and demand for this, and I thought, you know what, we're going to take some action and we're going to help people. So that's sort of how this came about, from lived experience, and because there was a huge need for this as well.
Yeah, I can understand that as well. Like, I mean, not myself. I've never struggled with mental health, not that I'm aware of. I may have subconsciously, but not that I'm aware of, but I can still see I've got a 19-month-old child, so our house is always cluttered at the minute, and it does get me down, like, because I feel like you get to a point where it's enough and you're just like, what's the point?
I think that's a really good point. I think people find you get to the point where it becomes unmanageable and then it just spirals. I think that's where most people get to that reach out to us.
Yeah.
Is where they've gone past the point of it becomes so overwhelming that you just don't do anything, and then you just can't get out of it.
Exactly that. Yeah. I liken it. So it's like I always say to my partner, actually, I'm like, look, can you just, when I'm at work, just declutter, just do a little, just please declutter. Because it's like washing up, isn't it? It's like the washing. Like, if I go to the sink and there's 2 bowls in there, I'm like, yep, sweet, easy, whack, 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 done. But when they see 5, and you're like, all right, I'll do it later. You chuck another 2 in. I'll do it, and then next thing you know, you've got 30, and you're like, oh, I can't do this. And it does happen. It happens to everybody. It can.
You find with parents with young children as well, is you're always constantly getting new things in for them. And actually, when everything's all out and you want to do a declutter and you want to put things away, not everything has a home as well. So actually, you want to do it, but nowhere has a place to go. And then your mind goes straight to, I need to now go through the cupboards and reorganize things and make space. Before you know it, you've got this whole massive list, and before you've even done it, you felt like you've done it already because you're going through everything in your mind, and that's it, you're done.
Yeah.
Before you've even touched 100%. It, just exhausted.
I mean, I'm surprised I've still got my studio left, to be honest with you. I'm half expecting one day to come here and it just be filled with like teddies or a ball
The
pit or
playroom.
something. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
literally, it's my playroom at the minute. No one's taking it from
So-
me.
With these cleans then that you do, is it all free or are they paid
Yeah.
or how does that work?
This is absolutely free. So when we say it's free, I mean we take absolutely. We don't get. First of all, we don't get paid for this at all. We do this completely free. It's out of our own time, and also our clients, so the recipients of our cleans as well. They don't pay any money towards this. We don't take any form of donations from them either. So it's completely free all round.
And I think that was
Awesome.
probably the most important thing from us. Like, I think statistically, if you look out there, probably the most impacted people are people that are, not wealthy or don't have disposable income. And I think that was really important to you, Kimmy, wasn't it, when you set it up, and it continues to be the main purpose of this. So we'll get messages all the time to our Facebook saying that they want how much to do this, how much to come and clear my home. So it's a constant trying to tell people, because people don't believe that they can get something like that for free. So it's that constant kind of message to say, we can't do your whole home, but we can help you for free for one room. And a lot of people don't think they're worthy of that help, do they, Kimmy?
Yeah,
it almost comes
that's-
as a shock to them that someone's willing to kind of help.
They always think there's a
really
catch, and
nice.
that just shows
Mm.
sort of how they've been let down maybe before, and the trust that they have in people and sort of professionals, or services that are out there as well, is that they think there's a catch, they can't believe it. But we also have a lot of meetings as well, with charities and sort of local services, and we have a lot of people trying to push us sort of towards being into a business. We need to, why aren't we
Sure.
charging for this? And I'm like, it has to absolutely stay free. That is the most important thing here, is that the people that are receiving the help and the cleans from us, it is free to them. That's the whole point of this. Otherwise, we might as well just to set up a cleaning business, really.
100%.
And that's not what we're about. So
I get that 100%, and it's going back to sort of, especially like the fact that people are finding it hard to believe it's free. I think that it shows a lot about society today, really, doesn't
it does, yeah.
Like, people have been
100%.
let down, like you say, and also the fact that it's free because everybody's feeling the pinch at the minute. Like, every part of like the UK, like just in the UK, it's like everyone's feeling the pinch. So the fact that you can offer these services must be such a weight lifted off of someone's chest. It's unreal. I'd imagine you see it, like you can see the impact it has, and as much as you're not in it for that, it must give you such like a warm feeling about yourselves as well.
it makes all of the sort of stress, the behind the scenes stress and everything so worth it in the end, is that reaction we get and actually the impact that it has on them afterwards. So obviously we can't show our clients to people and we can't show the reaction. All we could do is share that afterwards, but actually being there and seeing that, it's just, we've been in tears quite a few times. It's honestly, it's just the most amazing feeling and experience. And we just did a project with Milton Keynes College, and all of our students and some of the staff that joined us actually got to see a client at the end and show them all of the work that we had done, and they got to see that reaction as well. So they were part of that experience, which is really, really special. That's a really special part of mental health cleaning.
That's
wicked.
that's so
They get
good.
quite-
No, I won't. I can't think about it otherwise. I'm just all of the tears and
It's great as well, like as you were saying, that you can't show it, because I think a lot of people would, if you did show these things, it would be people would try and spin it in a way, that's why you're doing it, for the clout.
so
and all
it'd be
this, 'cause,
exploitation a little bit, wouldn't it? If we're actually showing them.
exactly.
No, absolutely not. They're
Yeah.
kept completely
Yeah.
anonymous.
You
And
know,
to be
like you
honest-
see.
Sorry.
Go on. No, you
Yeah,
go, Vicky.
I think that, to be honest, we share the videos, but the purpose of sharing the videos is not to kind of sell what me and Kimmy have got up to on a Friday. Look how great we are. It's more to highlight to people that they're not alone in that situation.
Yeah.
And that there's other people that are in the same situation where
Yeah.
things have got out of control, and so that they can hopefully see the benefit and not be so kind of frightened to reach out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about reaching out to
It
you.
really
You know, it
has
gives them
opened the
more of a
door up
purpose to reach
to,
out.
yeah, it has opened the door to people reaching out to us because they can see obviously what we're doing and that we're raising awareness around this. And we have sometimes floods of messages coming through from people that are struggling, you know, and that's a really, really so brave of them to actually come and speak to us. And I just sort of wonder how long it might have gone on if they didn't see what we were doing and how long they might have been suffering sort of behind closed doors, you know. So yeah.
But
Nah, yeah.
it's sad though, because we get, every time we post a video, we'll get, 15, 20 messages of people asking for help, and you'll start to engage in that kind of conversation. But the actual conversion rate of getting someone who messages us asking to help to actually feel safe enough to have us come in is really low.
Sure, yeah.
And I think, again, that's just maybe they don't feel worthy or they're too embarrassed to come and see us. But I think that's fair, isn't it, Kimmy, that we get a lot of interest, but actually giving people that security to see the process through is probably our toughest job.
Yeah, I think sometimes people just want to talk and they want that safe space and they just want to get it off of their chest, which is sort of part of why we're here as well. And we offer that sort of support, you know, on our social media, and obviously people can email us as well. So sometimes I just feel like they just want to talk and share sort of what they're going through with people that understand what they're going through, you know, as opposed to them actually wanting us to come in and help, because yes, that can be a struggle sometimes, can't it? I mean, we've managed to do one pretty much every single month as well, so we've always been helping somebody. But I just feel like sometimes
Yeah.
people do just want to have somebody they can talk to and share what they're going through with.
I think it's like two birds, one stone, isn't it? You know, you're providing two services essentially. You're providing somebody to talk to as well as the other things you do, and I think they're probably beneficial as each other. You know, the conversation and the cleaning, because when you feel in a certain type of way, having someone to talk to and being able to express yourself is such a massive let off for everything.
Yeah.
You know. So 100%. Going back to like the video side of it as well, I think, like you say, sharing it on social media is really good in a sense of having other people see it and have the bravery to reach out and go, there are other people in this situation. And I just want to emphasize to anybody listening that it's the complete opposite to these people you see on TikTok who walk around and give someone who's homeless a bit of food for the likes, you know, because when it's true, because people do that, and it's emphasizing that that's not what the sharing on social media is about on these like subjects and aspects. And I suppose that's where it comes from, not showing the people and the reactions and that sort of thing. That's where it benefits in that sense, because that's where it's not like the like bait, the clickbait, that sort of thing. So I just really wanted to emphasize that to anybody's listening, because you know, the society we live in, some people just look at things the wrong way. So
Yeah, no, it's 100% about raising awareness, be it for having, you know, sort of that platform where people feel comfortable and safe and they can be open as well. And just to obviously talk about mental health, and that this is actually one of the sort of things that happen when you are going through depression and you are going through grief. You know, sometimes people
100%.
can't get out of bed, and we talk about, you know, poor hygiene, and actually, well, your home environment, your housework is one of the things, actually probably one of the first things that is affected by mental health, you know, and physical health, you know, disabilities as well. That is one of the first things that will go. So yeah, so just to raise awareness around that on our social media with our videos and just talking about it is so important to us.
100%.
How many cleans do you do? Because obviously, Vicky, you said obviously you have a full-time job. Is it weekly cleans, or is it?
So
Is it Friday?
we offer one clean a month.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't sound a lot, but Kimmy is the kind of driving force behind the majority of this, and the amount of kind of admin organization, especially as we've started taking on kind of bigger projects, the amount of work in the background to just facilitate that one clean is huge. So yeah, one clean a month is what we offer at the moment.
Hey, that's still 12 a year though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah, it's still
It's,
yeah.
that one person a month, and that 12 a year is one person a month, 12 people a year that wouldn't have had that help. And also,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not the most wealthiest person, and Vicky could, I mean, if we wanted to do this twice a month or once a week, it's about taking that time out of work because people need to remember, we do this for free as well. We wouldn't
Yeah.
be able
Yeah.
to financially afford this at all. So
No.
we give 100% what we can, and the impact that we've had on the people we have helped has just been absolutely amazing.
I
Oh,
think
that's
some
fine.
things they don't have no value, do they? You know, you'd put whatever you can into making that person's life easier. You know,
Yeah.
it's that simple. So what where was the inspiration from? Where was it? So was it anything that clicked one day? Was it something that you planned to do the mental health cleaning? Was it like a long process, or was it something that you were just like one
Or
day
do you
you were
guys
like,
just enjoy
This
cleaning yourselves?
That.
this happened really quickly. So I had the idea, I think it was around the 16th or the 17th of October 2023, and it was sort of 3-4 days later I actually just went for it and I set it up, because as Vicky, she's known me for like 18 months now. When I get an idea, I'm like, let's do it.
you
Right?
are
So I'm
preaching
very
to the choir right now?
I'm very
Literally, I
I'm always
decided to do
messaging
this
Vicky.
podcast.
Yeah, I'm always like, don't kill me. Yes, what we're doing. So yeah, so it happened pretty quickly. But again, it's from that lived experience. You know, I've been through things myself where things have got on top of me. I've always sort of been in and out of sort of therapy and counselling, and I just want people to stop picking at my brain sometimes. And you know, you could go on the mental health walks and everything like that, which is absolutely great, but I just really wanted somebody to just come here and help me. And I had a like social prescribed worker, so sort of like a support worker, came in, and she was absolutely amazing. And she was like, right, what's getting you down this week? What can we do? And she was just so proactive. And I was like, there's these letters I don't understand. Could you help me? And she was like, right, get them out. Let's go through it all. She got on the phone and she was helping. I love this. I was like, I absolutely love this. This is what I need. I don't always want people to be, I don't want to be talking about my feelings all the time. I actually need that physical help and support, and that really sort of inspired me with my lived experiences, and also that help that I had, which was again really, really proactive as well, was to combine those both together and to do this. And I like cleaning for other people.
Funnily
It's
enough,
hard when it's your own, it's hard when it's your own home sometimes, because you're a bit, I think you can have, you know, a little
It's
bit of
different
fog
mindset on your own
when you're
house,
doing
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah, it is. I could go to somebody else's house. I'm like, this can go there and
Me
that can go
too.
there, and then when I'm looking at my own, I'm like, what is going on? What's
it's
happening?
funny because you say that you like cleaning. Because mum and my nan. So Jamie's actually my uncle. So when I say my nan, I mean Jamie's mum as well.
Oh, okay.
She suffered from OCD like her whole life, to the point where it was like she was on top of the fridge freezer at 3 a.m. in the morning, dusting
Every night, yeah.
the ceilings. You know, it was. I lived there for a while. It was loud, but I think, you know, being in a clean environment can keep you clean as well, if that makes sense. So like for me, I lived with my grandma, and I was a slob. I'm not gonna lie, I was a right slob. But when I've moved out, everything clicked in my head. So now I'm the same. I'm like, everything's got to be clean. So I think once you've been in a clean environment, it really helps you to keep it that way. You know. So I think that definitely helps. And with regards to how, when you say how fast you set it up, it's a funny story with the podcast. I set this up on driving back from the gym in 25 minutes. Like I had an idea, and by the time I'd got home, I had a logo, I had a name, everything was ready. I'd created the account. Yeah. I mean, I put it down to my ADHD, but I don't know, it could be anything. I'm just my partner. She says I'm like a dog with a bone. I just have to go, and you know. But sometimes the best ideas happen like that, you know. So
So
I
with
know,
the
but then
bikes, we bought
I dragged
bikes.
Vicky into it.
yeah, we bought bikes. One day we were like, oh yeah, we should go on a bike ride. We both went and bought bikes. Like just bought them.
We used them twice. And
Used them twice. Mine's been in the shed for about a year now.
Yeah, so
Oh my gosh.
So I suppose, Vicky, Kimmy, are you full time working as well, or like how do you balance it? The question is, how do you balance this with like life as well? Because like you said, there's so much admin. It
Oh,
must
don't
take
ask
such
me
a
about
strain on
balancing
yourself.
it because I have not figured that out yet. I'm not going to lie. Realized it was really coming into my life at home with my family, and I was like, oh my God. And then I said to Vicky not long ago, didn't I? I was like, I'm doing a cut off at 6 o'clock, and I'm messaging you at 11 o'clock at night, like, I can't help it. There's a lot of stuff to do, and sometimes I just get in that I need to do this. I have to do it mode. So I mean, the balance for me, it's not there. So I'll pass it on to Vicky. How do you balance it, Vicky? Because I've not figured that out.
I think, yeah, I think it's probably a bit different for me, because I'm an office based. I work in an office, so it's impossible for me during when I'm at work to put focus into it. But I think it is important for us to have that balance. And I think part of the decision when we went from having kind of at one point 9 or 10 volunteers to
Oh yeah.
just being the two of us was because we we were like, nah, we can't manage this.
Sure.
I think we worked out fairly early on that we balanced each other out. Is that fair? I think
Yeah.
I'd say I'm probably
100%.
a slightly calmer one.
More structured.
Yeah.
More structured, yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, you
Definitely
said it
more
before me, but
yeah, out fairly early on. So I think we knew that we were gonna work well together. We can be honest with each other. So if there are days where, I've got a lot of work on, I know I can say to Kimmy, you know, I need to take a step away for a couple of days, or if Kimmy's feeling overwhelmed, she will say to me, I'm feeling overwhelmed. So I think although it's intense, our balance is probably being able to communicate that to each other and, if needed, share responsibility. But yeah, Kimmy's balance is got a lot of work to do for her own.
Is there anything like from your like your backgrounds that like has helped you with this? Like, have you, I suppose cleaning's not easy, but I suppose you don't need to be like trained for cleaning, right? Like, am I right in saying that?
when we
You don't
get
need to
into the
be
cleans that we're doing, you do need training. So I've just done a load of training courses as well. So when you're coming across things like mold, and we're talking
right.
bodily
Yeah.
fluids
Don't
as
talk to me
well,
about mold.
and there's all the different products and what they do and equipment you can use. So there should be a bit of training involved. I wouldn't recommend anybody to go into some of the cleans that we come across sometimes without sort of any experience or maybe that bit of training or knowledge
Yeah,
behind them with that. Yeah, I would
I
not.
stand corrected.
and
I
yeah,
wouldn't recommend it.
my many years ago, I worked for the NHS,
Oh, okay.
and I used to manage kind of contact. I don't know if you remember NHS Direct. I don't know if anyone meant to
Yeah,
actually old enough to remember that. That I used to manage contact centres for that service. I think that definitely helped me in terms of understanding people and
Sure.
kind of having some insight into why people behave like they do. So that
Okay.
helps.
yeah. And I
And
worked in
have you
schools for
done?
7 years as well. So I worked
Oh,
with
wow.
SEND children as well. So I did that
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
in primary and secondary. So sort of going into, looking into autism and ADHD. And yes, this was in primary school children and secondary school children, but that really, really helped me with what we are doing today because we are dealing with mental health and we do see a
Sure.
massive, big whole range of, different people coming to us with sort of different diagnoses as well. And that has really, really helped me with this.
Do you find that I've always had this sort of theory in my head, Josh's theory time, that people of say my age and maybe say 26, 27 onwards, because in schools like the diagnoses weren't as available as they are now. So do you find that maybe the people that like you're doing this for because they weren't diagnosed, maybe they've struggled to get the diagnosis, and it sort of led them down, for lack of a better term, a darker path. Is that a good way
I
to
think
say
I
it? I don't know.
found actually people that have the diagnosis and people that are suspected that they have this and they've not been diagnosed can still sometimes struggle the same amount, I think. Do you agree with that,
Okay.
Vicky?
Yeah, and I'm probably very lefty in my political view, so it's probably too political. But I just think the state that the NHS is in at the moment, there just isn't support
Mm.
available for people. So,
Sure.
you know,
No, there
they
isn't.
could have a diagnosis, but that doesn't mean they're going to get any support
That's what
with it.
that's what I
And
mean as
why,
well.
yeah, that's why I think we
Yeah.
find people in this position, because mental health support is so desperately underfunded. So that would be my
Yeah.
There's been
No,
massive
I'd 100%
cuts.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NHS is buggered.
I mean,
I
yeah,
took my son
it's
up there. Literally, I had to take my son to A&E a couple of weeks ago because he got bit by a dog on his hand. I arrived in there like 6:30 in the evening, and I didn't get out there till like 3:15 in the morning.
And
And
That's
it's
crazy.
like,
it's so sad, because I think people are so quick to like blame people that work in the NHS, and it's not
no, it's nothing to
it's
do
not
with
their
them.
fault. And
No,
I
absolutely.
think the scariest thing, I think, probably for us, is that the majority of people that reach out to us are NHS workers, social workers, key workers, because they can't get the help or funding from their own departments, that they're actually having to utilise charities or volunteer groups like us to help their clients. And I wasn't expecting that, if I was honest. Probably
Yeah,
really
no, I
naive
wouldn't.
of me, but that was a bit like when we got our first message, we were like, oh, and then as soon as we started conversing with that person, it was like the news spread like wildfire.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no, of course.
really picked up
Yeah.
this year. We've had so many charities, so mental health support services that are referring to us. We've had meetings with the NHS, the primary care networks in Milton Keynes. So that could be the East Primary Care Network, the North Primary Care Network that's had meetings with us, Milton Keynes Council, the social services. It's just we've had housing as well. I won't name the housing associations. They've been in contact with us as well, because
oh
their
wow.
tenants, obviously, housing officers go out and they're regularly visiting tenants, and they can obviously spot that their tenants are struggling. So we've had them reaching out to us as well. And then we get all of our organic sort of referrals as well, where people themselves are reaching out to us. So it just, as Vicky said, it just spread like wildfire. And I'd say a lot of our referrals now are actually sort of from those services, aren't they? Yeah.
Oh wow.
It just shows how desperate, social workers and
It's really
support
sad to
workers
hear,
are.
actually. That is actually really sad to hear. Like, people are like, even sort of like whoever's like the people that you just mentioned is reaching out to you, that it's actually got to that point. Yeah, it's nuts.
Well, I was reading online somewhere the other day that I can't remember what service it was, but they were like timed on their visits to houses. I can't remember if it was what exact service it was, but it was one of like, it could have been like police or whatnot, but they were actually timed on how much time they can spend in houses now, which
When
is
you go
like,
to the GP, I think you're only allowed to discuss one problem in
You are,
your
Yeah.
appointment. Like what?
Yeah.
Like how
10
does
10-minute
that
minutes for
even
appointment,
one
isn't it?
make?
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that even make sense for funding? Like, what are you
Mm.
talking about? Like, you could talk
Uh,
about two things in 10 minutes and one you're done, but now you've got to book 2 appointments. It's crazy.
how can you especially when these things, like the two things could be linked,
Exactly.
it's like, it makes
Oh, I don't.
no sense at all. But listen, it's not their fault, is it?
No,
That's the
no,
thing.
no.
It really isn't, and it is hard, and it's sad, and I think but I think not in a positive way, but it has brought things out such as the mental health cleaning. Maybe like it shouldn't be needed. Don't get me wrong, it shouldn't be needed, in a sense of the services should already be in place. But the fact that it's pushed for people like you to make the difference shows the opposite side of like the good nature, So I think that's the silver linings and everything. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, so I think that's definitely one
It's really
benefit.
showing us community spirit as well, because we're not funded. And as we've just explained, all the services that don't have that funding need our help as well. So actually the community spirit we've had, where our community and sort of our support network have all come together to try and help us, giving us cleaning products. We put on little raffles as well to do fundraisers, to just
Oh
try
wow.
and scrape a little bit together to pay for things
Yeah.
like our liability insurance and everything we got to have. It's just been that's just been really, really heartwarming, actually, hasn't it? So yeah, that's just been lovely. People come in, people we don't even know, that just really support us and what we're doing. Times are really hard, so they're putting their hard-earned money towards helping us and supporting people they don't even know. It's just been incredible.
Have you had like any cleaning product companies like reach out to you and say, look, we're more than happy to help you, here's some free cleaning products to
I think
XYZ?
you have to be blowing up on Instagram for that, and our
We're
Instagram's
not
a bit
we're
quiet.
famous.
But
No, our Facebook's a bit busier than our Instagram, but no, we haven't had anybody sort of reaching out to sort of endorse us or sponsor us.
have you thought about reaching out to them though and just say, look, this is what we're doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that would
We
be...
sometimes
have
reach out
reached
to a
out,
lot of people.
yeah. We have reached out to I know we reached out to, I don't know if I can say names and things, but like B&Q and Homebase, and we reached out to Co-op. They donate, I think, on a monthly basis to local volunteer groups. They ignored us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mainly big businesses ignore us. The ones that don't are local Milton Keynes and community businesses.
A lot of people are changing. Obviously, they did help voluntary groups, community groups such as ourselves, but actually a lot of people are like, if you're not a registered charity and you don't have a registered charity number, then I'm really sorry, we can't help you. I've been in Sainsbury's, we tried the Co-op, we've tried B&Q, Homebase. I think Wix actually tried to support us back in December of 2023, which is absolutely amazing. They were going to donate some PPE to us, which is great.
Yeah.
So sometimes they could do discretionary things, but yeah, and even when we're doing our raffles, the amount of messages we send across the whole of Milton Keynes, like, help us!
All right, we're the desperate dynamic duo. Am I really? Is it really dark in here? Do I need to turn the light on?
No, you're all good.
No,
Honestly, you're all good. Don't worry. the dark, desperate dynamic duo, right?
The dark,
Yeah,
desperate.
God.
I feel a name change coming on.
What would you like? Because you're in like the mental health space, let's say. What would you say would be like the most like common misconceptions people have around like mental health these days? Because I find there's a lot of people who really like it's a throwaway word people use. And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it. Like I'm undiagnosed, but I know I've got ADHD. Like you can speak to anyone in my family. Like it's clearly obvious. But I throw it around for myself. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I got it. Like, but what would you say, like, what's like the biggest like misconceptions or sort of problems with in like a societal way with like mental health at the moment? Is there anything that really like gets to you?
Personally, I think because it's such a topical topic now, like it's good to talk about it, right? I think people assume that if someone claims they've got a mental health problem, they're doing it for attention, or they're doing it to get something for free, or you're not working because you're lazy, or why
That's
can't
the
you
one
clean
that
that
annoys
up?
me.
Yeah,
Laziness.
you don't look like there's anything wrong with you, so why can't you do your kitchen yourself?
Everybody's a little bit autistic, aren't they? Or everybody's got a little bit of this. Sometimes really, that really frustrates me sometimes.
I think it affects everybody differently as well, doesn't it? That's the thing that people really need to understand. It's like my brother and my sister, like my brother's diagnosed autistic and my sister's diagnosed ADHD. And I mean, you wouldn't know if you met my brother at all. Really? Would you say, Bix? You wouldn't really know, would you?
No.
But he definitely puts on a front. And then the deeper you get to know him, you can see sort of where it stems from. And I think that's where people off the bat would just say, "Oh, no, he's not," or that's a lie, or but until you know that deeper version of
This
the
is the
person.
problem as well, is when you're masking, the person you see out of the house is completely different, and then people unmask, and then they're in this completely other world in their homes, which is what Vicky and I see with our mental health cleaning. And you do get the comments, like where people just can't believe it. Well, there's nothing wrong with you, is there? Because actually you're masking and you're trying so hard to be, a person that people expect you to be sort of in society, whatever that is, and then it just then it just completely drops when you're at home, and people just don't understand sort of what's going on, and that whole sort of shame sort of comes in, doesn't it, Vicky? And people don't feel ashamed, and they feel embarrassed, and they feel guilty. You just go in this little spiral. We see people who are in a spiral that's just uncontrollable. It's just awful.
Yeah, and I think to Kimmy's point about masking it, I think it's been such an eye-opener to see how people are living behind a closed door. So you could walk down your road now and think all the homes are really lovely. But when you open that door, it's a completely different story. I remember I went to do a home visit with a teaching professional.
Mm-hmm.
She was so well presented, held down a really respectable job, absolutely contributed to her community, but her house was chaos. Like it was, I can't tell you the volume of stuff in her house that you would never ever have known that if you just met her in the street.
That's
Yeah.
mad.
I think masking is massive these days. I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I think social media plays quite a big part in that for sure. Like even for myself, like on the forefront, like I would again on the forefront of me, if someone meets me on the street, they see someone who goes to the gym, tattoos, all this sort of thing. But then if you sort of look behind, sort of what I am, like not judging a book by its cover is totally different, but I've learned to mask myself outside to be this sort of like what you would see on Instagram sort of thing, tattoos, gym, all this sort of stuff, so I think it's definitely something that society really needs to help
social
with.
media
Mask
does.
little.
Yeah, I think social media does have like such a huge responsibility to play in terms of how people feel about themselves, because you only put like
Houses.
the good, their houses as well. Yeah, I remember we did a little
Yeah.
bit of a post about that, didn't we? Because when all you see on TikTok or Instagram is all these cleaning videos, the reset days, like how nice is my new
Their
sofa, and all,
fridges with the
all the
fucking
stupid food
stuff
things in their
and
fridges, and that's not reality. People
not at all.
don't live like that, and it's okay if your house isn't like that either. But I
That's
think
what we're trying to say as well.
Yeah,
It's not
like
normal, but do you know, it is okay. And that's what I mean by we unmask this all and we are showing the reality of it. And just this whole massive standard that people are holding each other to, where your homes have to be pristine, and all of these videos you're seeing on social media, and I'm like, there's no way your house looks like that.
But listen, unless
All
you've
the
got so
time.
much money and you're paying someone to do it, like
Yeah, or
which
you're
is
just
which is
spending
Or you're an
6 hours a
influencer and
day
that's your
doing
job.
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, no way.
yeah, I think that plays like a really big part in mental health and all sorts these days. Social media has got so many positives though.
Oh yeah.
For example, you guys, social media, you being on social media, showing what you do, that's a positive to it. And what's the sort of, and I'm going to touch on this a little bit with regards to mental health. Do you deal with sort of like anyone with like addiction and things like that? Is that something you're dealing with as well?
So I just want to say that sorry, I just interrupt you. If I interrupt,
No.
I'm not being rude. I can't help it sometimes. Can I, Vicky?
I'm the same. I'm really bad for it, so don't worry.
Please finish your question.
I think I did. I can't really.
You bamboozled him now.
I am so sorry.
And I'm only joking. You're all good. Carry on.
We do help people that have addiction and sort of more severe mental health and diagnosis as well. But what's really important for us to obviously share with everybody is that we make sure that, first of all, if we accept them, sort of take them under our wing as one of our clients as well, that actually they are being supported by somebody. So if we have somebody that disclosed to us that they are going through, maybe they have an alcohol addiction, and they've disclosed to us that they don't have a support network in place, and they've not reached out for help, something that Vicky and I can do is that we could put referrals in, we could get them that
Oh, okay.
support. So it wouldn't be within the best interest for them and for us to go in and do the clean, for them to just, it would just all go back to how it was a week later. So it's about really making sure that they have that support in place, signposting people as well. So we're very, very careful with sort of who we take on, but we have helped people that have had addiction problems with some
Do
of
you
the.
take, sorry, do you take like safety measures in as well for yourselves, like safeguarding yourselves as
Absolutely.
well?
So safeguarding and risk assessments are a massive part of this as well. So this is what a lot of people don't realise goes behind the scenes, and everything we have to do with all of the admin and the policies and the procedures and the conversations and just everything that happens behind it. So we absolutely do safeguard ourselves and we look after ourselves as well. We always go in twos doing home
Dynamic
visits.
duo.
Yeah, the dark dynamic duo. We are in contact with their support workers as well, so we'll get a little bit of background. They're aware of this as well, that we will be contacting if they do have a support worker or something, or they are with the mental health service. We'd just have a little chat with them, get a little bit of background about them. We spend a lot of time speaking to our clients as well. We're always visiting twos. It will always be me and Vicky. We'll never go alone as well. We have like safety words that we'll use, like little code words if we feel unsafe, if we're in the home as well. Because sometimes I think maybe one of our clients has had a bit of erratic behaviour, I would say. So to make sure that we do have our code words in place as well, where we understand what that means, and that means we just leave everything and get out.
Yeah. But I
I
think
had a code
also,
word on
what's
my
your code word?
on my first date with my fiance. I had a code word I was going to text to my friends. Like, she's beautiful, right, and well out of my league. So I was like, I thought I was going to get kidnapped. Like, this is like the God's honest truth. I genuinely, like, this is where my brain goes. And I was like, so my code word was bananas. And if I sent someone the message bananas, they knew my location. They had to come get me. So
I think though, to your question though, I think there is a misconception sometimes that people with abuse problems or more significant diagnoses are scary and or can cause you harm or are gonna attack you or are not gonna be kind. And actually I think that's probably the opposite of what we found.
They've been some of the
They
loveliest.
are gentle, warm, lovely
Yeah.
people and they just need a bit of help.
well,
They just need that
Jamie
love.
is an addict.
Oh,
Jamie is an addict, so we're
Yeah.
You're not
recovering.
scary.
No,
No.
well, I
Yeah.
don't know. He can be. Like, he's a bit weird.
Yeah,
He's
but like you
alright.
say there, when I was like really bad into addiction, it was didn't want to leave the house, didn't really want to do anything, didn't give a shit about myself. But yeah, it was. I can see like where these people with addiction go into these things. Like I could just say it,
Yeah, like 100%. I think that's why we're interested in having people who come on and talk about mental health, is because you've got a live experience of it, haven't you, Jamie? So
Yeah.
it's super helpful. And I think you've been there as well with regards to like you're not giving a shit like
Yep.
about
Yep.
like how
Anything.
you looked, what anything looked like, anything.
Not what anyone cared. I didn't give a shit what you thought about me, my mum and dad thought about me, like anything. At
Well,
that time.
congratulations on your recovery.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You're really inspiring. A dad of 5. You look very well
Yeah.
groomed and presented, like you're doing your part. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely, honestly, it's incredible. Well done.
He only shows his face though. he's I'm joking.
No,
I'm
don't
joking.
go there. We don't want to know.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, I can't even say it. I'm not going to say it. Right.
Bully.
Yeah, I'm not a bully. You know that. He always calls me a bully. It's banter. It's all light-hearted banter, everybody.
Amy, were
What
you
do you
really
think-
affected at home were you really affected
No.
at home when you were going through addiction?
Yes, let's be real.
Yeah. But like, to what sense, like, really affected at home? Like, as in what? Sorry.
Was
I'm
it sort
struggling.
of, did you find, I don't know if you were with a partner or you had your children at that
Yeah.
time? You
Yep,
did,
I
yeah.
did.
So did you
Yep.
find that massively impacted? Obviously, maybe you weren't able to sort of offer that sort of support at home and
Everything, yeah, just everything. I was a terrible dad. I was all round terrible, to be honest with you. It was, I don't know, I don't really know how to put it. It was like just one thing that made me click, and I was like, nah, I change now, and that was it. And I'd done a whole year sobriety, nothing. And then I started doing like really well at work. I got promoted at work, and like the amount of positivity that comes through sobriety is unreal.
Yeah, because we got to a point
Same.
where we hated each other.
Pardon?
We like basically we didn't like each other.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
honestly, we didn't. We'd like be in the same room and we'd get on for the family, but it was like, stop being an
Yeah.
arsehole, Bix. Come on, sort it out. And he was like, shut up, Josh, you dickhead. Like it's you know. But you were also, I would say, you were still working. What is it they call it? A functioning
In
addict.
functioning, yeah, I was.
And you were, and you masked it.
100%.
You
Yeah,
masked
I
it,
did.
you know. But no, I'm super proud of him. I don't say this very often, but I am. I am. He's an annoyance, but I am proud of him. All right, guys. So that's a nice ease for you out of today, though, Bix. That's it. That's all you get. What do you think, like, as people, just in general, like society, can do to sort of help the stigma around mental health? What would you advise people, in a sense?
Talk about it and check in with your friends. I think one of the biggest drivers for poor mental health is loneliness or feeling like you're alone. I'd say just making that first move to talk about it with someone. I'm definitely now feeling like I'm sat in a pitch black room. No?
It has got a
Yeah,
little bit
1 second,
darker.
sorry.
That's fine. We'll carry on. You're all good. I definitely find, like, now I'm all.
No, now I'm like under a halo. Like,
There you go. It suits what you enjoy. I sounded really cockney then, didn't I? Weird. All right, mate. I also think that there needs to be a massive highlight on women's mental health these days. There's a lot of highlight on men's mental health, which I'm good with. Keep it going, but I do find that there's a lack of, like, what I see on social media anyway, a lack of promoting women's mental health. Would anybody agree with that?
I feel like
Absolutely.
with diagnoses with women with ADHD is a massive thing at the moment, isn't there? Where there's a massive sort of misconception with how that presents in women as opposed to how it presents in men as well, which can cause sort of huge problems actually for women that have ADHD. Undiagnosed. And we're actually lucky in Milton Keynes that we do have quite a few little groups where you can come and meet up and talk with each other. And we have one specifically aimed for men, and then we have one for women as well. So I think we're quite lucky in our area that we have both. We have two sort of support groups for men and women here. I don't know where I was going with that at the end.
You're all right. We've just opened up something in Amesbury called The Shed, haven't they, Bix? Is it The Shed, or it's like the Man Shed or something?
I
don't know.
Yeah.
Is that?
I've heard of the Man Shed.
Yeah, I've heard of the Man Shed.
They've opened one of those here, which is really, really cool. But I do think in my opinion anyway, I could be completely wrong, I think there needs to be more of a social push towards women's mental health. But I think that with women, a lot of people, and it's probably mainly predominantly men, when it comes to like women's like moods and mental health and things, they put it down to like,
oh, she's hormonal.
Exactly, time of the month,
yeah.
hormonal, this sort of thing, and all of that shit, where it's funny because if you ask my partner, she'd be like, oh, you know nothing about mental health, da da da, and then she listens to my podcast, and you're like, wow, you do understand me, and I'm like, yeah, I do, I promise, I do, I try my best, but I think also it really helps to have been through it, because as I said earlier, I've never been through anything like that. So I feel like I definitely find it harder to understand anything like mental health related compared to somebody who's actually been through it or struggled themselves.
Yeah.
So, or lived with it even, so I think this is where things like, I don't know where I'm going with this, so bear with the train of thought is going. I lost it. But no,
I've done
no,
that the
it's
whole way through, don't worry.
the more people we can help with like the mental health issues, I suppose that gives more support to people with mental health issues, because they're probably the best people to help them out in a sense. They've been through it, they understand it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely think there's something about being able to relate to someone, right? Or talking about your own shared experiences. But I also think that you don't have to have experiences to be able to provide support to someone. So
Mhm.
personally, from a personal level, I think often all people need is just someone to talk to, or someone to listen to, or someone to download to. You don't have to say anything. You just need to make someone aware that you're there to help,
You
or
Yeah.
just need
there
some
to listen.
empathy,
Yeah.
compassion,
Mm.
and just to listen. Not everybody wants solutions. Sometimes I get really annoyed
Yeah.
where I'm like, I don't want solutions. I just
Tell me
want
how to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
give me
And
answers that make
some
sense.
people just don't want to reach out to friends and family either.
Fair. Yeah. That's
They
absolutely
just
fair.
want to, do you know what I mean? They reach out to a nobody really, if
And
that makes sense.
we do see that. So sometimes, like, we'll get a message that's like about 20 scrolls of your phone long, because sometimes it is easier to talk to a stranger, because
Someone who you don't know, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
They can't
yeah.
they
judge
can't
you.
tell you, well, they can't tell you, oh, don't worry about whatever, you'll be
Mm.
all right. They won't be able to comment on your personal life. I think that's
Mhm.
probably why therapy is a good idea for lots of people, because again, it's a stranger that's not going to provide any judgment or have any insight into kind of your day-to-day life.
And essentially, that's another service you provide, isn't it? You know, that's another service. It's not, as we said earlier, it's not just the cleaning. It is
Yeah.
being that person they can talk to who they don't know on a personal level.
Yeah.
You know, which is great. I mean,
especially
Go on.
especially like when it gets to that point that they're reaching out to you, that actually means that they want some sort of help. Like when
Well,
it
that's
gets
what
to
we were
that
going back
point,
to earlier. Sometimes it's not because they
yeah,
necessarily want us to come and do the clean, but they do want to just open up and they want to get
mm,
everything off of their chest and say everything they've
yeah,
been going through. This is how it's impacted me at home. I feel better now. Bye. You know,
mm,
we don't want the clean anymore, but yeah, just being there for people to sort of, so they can have that open conversation with us and just really, really get it off their chest. And again, have somebody that sort of understands what they're going through as well has been really, really beneficial for people.
100%.
100%.
100%. All right. Well, I tried to end things on a sort of a super jolly note. So before we get to that, but is there anything? Do you want to just spend like a couple of minutes just telling everybody what, like, I don't know, anything you want to say, anything that you want to go through, anything you want to say? The floor is yours.
Yeah.
God, that's a lot of pressure.
I know. I've written some
Right.
stuff down.
Go on.
Perfect. Brilliant. Let's do it.
We've got some tips. I did a hoarding awareness course yesterday.
Okay, that's
Anybody?
awesome.
Okay.
So if anybody's struggling, I got some really great tips actually from the course yesterday, and some of the rules as well for this. Well, it's not rules, but some of the guidelines is if you are struggling in your home and there's a lot of clutter, is start in the least emotional area, which I thought was really stood out to me. Because actually, we'll go to the area that's stressing us out the most. Actually, sometimes it's better to go into the least emotional area to start. And this other rule as well, it's called the red route area. So you can start off, red route is you look at all of your exits and stairs. So your front door, back door, stairs.
Yeah.
You can start on that, getting that all cleared as well, so you can sort of access through your house. I thought that was really great. One of my favourite ones is the keep, donate, and dispose as well. And also so the keep, donate, dispose, it really helps people actually, because a lot of people have a sentimental attachment to a lot of their belongings.
Yeah.
And actually, by having these 3 piles and having that donate one, it really helps, because you're actually doing something really great and you're helping somebody else out by then giving that to charity as well. So somebody else can benefit from that. That's amazing. And my favorite one was the I'm going to swear on this now. If it was covered in shit, would you wash it? If the answer is no, throw it away. Chuck it. If it's covered in, honestly, if it's covered in shit, would you go through all the hassle of disinfecting it, cleaning it to keep it, or would you throw that in the bin? okay, so just look at that with some of your items as well.
I
Imagine
like
it's
that.
covered in
I like
covered
that.
in poo. Would you honestly just bin it? Then yeah, just throw it away. I thought that was
I'm using
absolutely
that one.
brilliant. I was
I'm
like, oh my
using that one
God,
with my
gonna look at
missus,
everything with
like
poo
no
on it
doubt.
now.
I'm using that one. We're really bad for it. I need to use it on myself because with little man, we're really bad for it. Where like it's all sentimental. You know, this was his first night outfit. This was his first this is. But then you get to the point where you're like, oh, this was his first set of trainers that he played football in. But it's not his first set of trainers. You know,
Yeah.
you're just like, dude, you need to stop. So yeah, we're going through that at the minute. So I'm gonna use that. I'm using that 100%.
Yeah, if it was covered in poo, would you wash it and
Would you?
keep it?
I like that. I like that. That's brilliant.
My sign off is going to be more sentimental. So I want to say that if you're in Milton Keynes and you're having a difficult time with your home and you need some help, please do message us because we're here to help you.
We will get all your
Absolutely.
socials in a second. Don't you worry about that, and I will put it in the notes. But that's brilliant. And I would like to. I mean, Bicker, is there anything you want to go through?
No. It's been quite interesting listening to.
Bicker's the quieter one of the two, as you can probably
I am,
tell.
yeah. Sometimes I just lose like my thoughts. Sometimes my mind just does some mad stuff and goes elsewhere. But Josh is just like there because he's on it like all the time. He's like rah, rah, rah. Straight away. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm
It's
such
like
an
when it gets to
anxious
the breaking point.
person. I'm gonna be like after this. I'm gonna be like, you idiot! Why did you say that? It was
That's fine.
faster.
We're always open to episode 2, so don't worry about it. We're always open to having people on again, so that's nothing to worry about. But I always like to sign off on something a little bit lighthearted, and I always try and tailor it to sort of the guests we've got on. So feel free to answer. You don't have to. But I have a question. Trying to keep it a bit on the funny side or lighthearted side. What's the weirdest or strangest thing you've ever found while cleaning?
Well, funny enough, we did a litter pick recently. We found a whole carrier bag full of bottles of wee. A whole carrier bag.
Oh
with
no, and
bottles
we
of
found
wee
a
in.
rug with the poo on it. The rug with the poo.
And what's this?
Is
The
this
carrier
just
bag?
Rug with
picking
the
up?
poo.
Is this
Yeah.
picking up around the community?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see her in the video where she gets the litter picks. Oh, that was so funny. But yeah, we found some.
We've mentioned these sort of things before. Like we're telecoms engineers by trade, so we travel all the time, and there is times where I need to pull up on the side of an A road for a number one, and it does happen. I apologise, everybody. I know it's not right to do. No, but I have seen some weird things on the side of the road. You know, you see a cut in on a bush, and you're like, right, okay, cool. And then next thing you know, you're walking in, and there's a leather outfit, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's
like. Oh, I've seen all sorts. I'm pretty sure I walked into like on the side of an A road sex dungeon. It was weird. So yeah, we've seen some weird stuff.
Yeah,
honestly.
I've seen like sex toys in like care homes and stuff for little old Betty in room 7. Like it's
You know,
mad.
she still wants it.
You know,
Why would you
Yeah,
not want
Sally.
it?
she's still into it.
I learned in college actually, so a very long time ago, that actually, did you know the highest rate of sexually transmitted infections is in care homes?
Okay.
Is
They're
it?
Oh
on it.
wow!
They're on it. They've
I'm
retired
upgrading my
and they're in a big
They've
home
got
with
time on their hands.
each other, and yeah, they're like YOLO, you know. This guy.
I'm upgrading my PPE every time I go to a care home. I'm upgrading my PPE.
Obviously, to say your Tinder profile.
Oh my god.
Well, as mentioned before, sex toys are completely normal, everybody. So not to worry, it's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone's allowed them.
Just let us know beforehand to not go in certain drawers.
Exactly. And I think a massive takeaway from this one as well is that not anyone can do what you do. You know, and that's in a support sense, that's in an emotional sense, that's in a hard-working sense, but also there is a lot you have to go through to do this. That's been my biggest takeaway.
Yeah,
is how much you go through to do this.
What you guys do, I thought it'd be as right, this person we're going to do on Friday, literally go there Friday, done. But from what you're saying, all the paperwork and all that just sounds manic.
Yeah, all the paperwork, all the policies, procedures, the training, the training we've been on. We've done safeguarding training, designated safeguarding training, first aid training, hoarding awareness training. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So would I be right in saying that you wouldn't advise people just to go and start cleaning people's houses,
100%.
right? Okay, cool. Because
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to sort of
There's a
get
lot of
to,
things
because
yeah. One of the main things as well is the liability insurance, which isn't cheap as well. You need to make sure that first
I
of
know.
all, yeah, you obviously we've done counselling. Vicky's worked in the NHS, so we can have these conversations with people as well. I don't think it's a really good idea to just go straight into somebody's house, not understand sort of about their mental health, what they're going through. You could really trigger people. People could relapse, and you need to have appropriate conversations with people as well. Yeah, I don't want to stop people from wanting to help people, but just really think about actually what you're doing and what the people are going through as well.
yeah, no, of course, no, that makes total sense as well.
Mm.
Like everyone, if you want to help somebody do it, you just got to do it the right avenue, right?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
And are you still looking, like, are you still like volunteers? Is that something you're still open to, or is that something sort of at the minute you're a bit closed off to because
I
it's
said if we take on any more volunteers, I need a volunteer looking after my volunteers. I want a volunteer PA. So that's what I need, a volunteer PA, who's like my shadow, yeah, and then a volunteer looking after the volunteers, because that was a lot. It was a lot.
No, that's fair enough, because
We
essentially
like one off. We like
you're
people
then
joining us one off for projects. That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Permanently at the moment, yeah. Me and Vicky just smash through everything together, don't we, Vicky? We work so well with each other. So yeah.
Nice.
amazing. Wow, I appreciate you both coming on. It's actually been eye-opening. It like genuinely it has.
Yeah.
Learning things and just sort of taking a more of an understanding for me. I think I always learn things from these conversations we have with people, but I do try to actually implement them in my life as well. So we appreciate you coming on. I would also like to just say, like, in the least patronizing way possible, well fucking done, because like what you're doing is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank
It was really
you.
good.
Like,
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
so much.
that's not us chatting the shit either. But before you go, please let us know what your socials are, so we can just, everybody can hear them and know them. So tell them where they can find you on Instagram and Facebook or whatnot, and then we can go from there.
Well, we're called Mental Health Cleaning across our Facebook and Instagram. So just look up Mental Health Cleaning. Again, we're on Facebook and Instagram, and also we're on Linktree as well. So that's a little bit easier if you want to just quickly go and find our videos without scrolling through all of our millions of posts on our Facebook. If you go onto our Linktree, that's again Mental Health Cleaning, and you can easily access all of our videos there and see what we get up to and how we're looking after and supporting our community.
Amazing. Well, if you could
That's very
send that
good.
to us after as well, I'll put it in the description.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. I would also recommend you do a YouTube, just an FYI. But yeah, anyway, do a YouTube. YouTube's
I
amazing.
need a volunteer for that who can run the social medias, because I'm doing everything. I can't take on any more stuff.
That's fine. If you ever need a hand, just give us a message. I can't physically do it, but I can advise you in many ways.
Thank you.
But listen, if you've listened to this far, guys, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate everybody listening. So please, as always, support us so we can bring more to you. So you can like, follow, subscribe. So we're on YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. These are we're there. If it's available, we're there.
Summon off.
Yeah. So just rate, review, like, subscribe, and tell your friends about it, because why wouldn't you? It's free to do. Support us, help you. Peace out. Thanks for listening. Bye.